heavily regulated and highly competitive world, corporations are facing greater scrutiny and larger challenges than ever before. Meeting those challenges successfully requires an attorney or a team of attorneys with expertise in all aspects of corporate law to help you structure and protect your company so you can maximize your success. With us today is one such attorney. Hi, I'm Janice Marie with Close Up on America's Business. We're high above the trading floor at the American Stock Exchange in New York City. And joining me today is a gentleman who was recently named one of the top 10 attorneys of 2007 in the United States in the areas of international trade and finance. His name is John Maalouf. He's with the Maalouf Law Firm. John, welcome. It's great to have you with us today.
Thank you, Janice. It's good to be here today.
One of the top 10 attorneys in the U.S. You're number 5, actually, I understand. That's quite impressive. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Now, I also understand you're a member of Mensa with an IQ that puts you in the range of genius. Isn't that true?
Yes, that's right.
So why don't you tell us how it is you put your genius to work for your clients? What exactly do you do?
Well, we represent companies in all aspects of corporate law, from IPOs to M&As to private placements. We represent Fortune 500 companies as well as small startup companies and mid-range companies, private placements, M&As, that sort of work.
All aspects of corporate law then, and finance.
Yes, that's right.
Exactly. Now, give us some idea of maybe the different types of companies that you work with.
Well, we represent large publicly traded companies in different types of deals, mergers and acquisitions, hostile takeovers, IPOs. We also represent small companies, startup companies, and a lot of times we'll have 2 or 3 individuals who have a great idea, some initial financing, and they're ready to get their company off the ground. Other times we'll represent mid-sized companies. They're growing, they're doing well, they're not quite yet ready for an IPO, and we'll help them get money through doing a private placement. They can raise $5 million or $10 million in capital without having to register with the SEC, and hence there's no 10Ks, 10Qs, or 8Ks, or Sarbanes-Oxley issues to be concerned about.
What are some of the mistakes that smaller companies might make when they're just getting started that had they come to you, you could have saved them a lot of time, trouble, and maybe even money to begin with?
Well, oftentimes principals of a small company are friends, and they think, well, we'll do this on a handshake, and things will get worked out as they go. One common problem we see is infighting among the principals of this type of company. There's misunderstandings, and they have different expectations as to what their respective duties are and to what they're each entitled to. If they'd come to an attorney to have things structured properly from the beginning, these misunderstandings wouldn't happen. Frequently we'll get clients who have been in business a couple of years and misunderstandings have already happened. There's infighting among the principals, and oftentimes it becomes a very lengthy and expensive process to litigate or arbitrate the matters, and sometimes they actually end in the destruction of the company. So
the lesson is do it right from the very beginning and really invest in the kind of services that can help your business succeed.
That's right. Finance is a lot like skydiving. It's something you want to get right the first time.
That's a good way to put it. You only get one good chance on that one. Your services, you're a leader in the financial services industry, from what I understand, and you even have a moniker. You're known as the Ideas Man. Where did that come from?
Many years back, one of my clients pinned that moniker on me, and it just kind of stuck. I have the ability to come up with ideas where other lawyers have been unable to see solutions other people cannot see.
So give us some examples there. What type of, somebody comes to you and someone else has told them it just can't be done, yet you do it. What type of situation might that be?
Well, we had this one situation a little while back where a client had been to a law firm with over 1,000 attorneys. They had spent about 3 months on the matter, staffed it with 6 attorneys, and billed a client close to 7 figures, only to come back and tell them that it couldn't be done.
After all that time and all that money.
That's right.
And so what could you do for them?
Well, they came to me and they told me that about the transaction. It was interesting. It had never been done before. It was a unique situation. So I spent about 3 days doing the mental gymnastics, figuring out how to structure it. About 4 weeks later, we had the deal structured, negotiated, and completed with the help of one associate, using none of the work the other firm had done.
Brilliant. I bet your client was thrilled.
They were pleased. Thank you.
You're a corporate boutique law firm. Describe for us specifically what that means.
Well, we represent clients in all aspects of corporate and finance law, from private placements and IPOs to M&As to structuring the bylaws or the operating agreement from the beginning, just to make sure that the company is set up properly at the beginning stages. One reason to make sure that a company is set up properly at the beginning is to avoid your client or your company from being the subject of a hostile takeover. We had such a situation a little while back where we had a friendly merger set up, but the board of directors of the target company got unreasonable. They got greedy, and so the friendly acquisition turned into a hostile takeover. We commenced a tender offer, and within a couple of weeks the board of directors of the target company realized that there was no way they were going to win this. They had no choice but to come to us to negotiate, and we had a deal on very favorable terms. I couldn't help but think at that time, however, that had the tables been reversed, had we been representing the target company, the hostile takeover could never have occurred. We would have had in place various anti-takeover provisions, poison pills, crown jewel lockups, shark repellents, but unfortunately they did not have good legal counsel, and they suffered the consequences and lost their company as a result.
I think it goes to say that a lot of people in their business make the mistake of thinking of an attorney's services as a cost that maybe they think they can't afford, yet it's really an investment that can save them so much in the long run.
That's true. For example, when a client comes to me with a transaction, the first thing I do is I listen. I understand what the client's objectives are, what they're trying to achieve. Then I analyze the transaction and figure out, how can I add value to this? How can I make it better, more profitable? For example, if the client's looking to raise capital, does it make sense for this particular company to issue equity securities or convertible debt securities? If the company is looking to open up operations in China, is it more profitable, more prudent to enter into a joint venture agreement with a Chinese company, or is it safer or more practical to open a wholly owned foreign enterprise? Or in a merger and acquisition situation, does it make more sense to structure the deal as a two-party straight merger or as a reverse triangular merger? In almost every instance, we not only help our clients achieve their goals, but also to add to the bottom line. We take advantage of the opportunities that are there and also work hard to make those opportunities happen.
So you have offices here in New York, and I also understand that you have an office in Hong Kong. Why China?
Well, we opened the office in Hong Kong about a year ago to service our clients who are investing in China, opening up operations there or joint ventures.
It's a huge emerging market.
It really is, and there's a great deal of potential.
Now, what kind of challenge? China is of itself a whole different world, and their business practices are very different. How is it that you help your clients kind of work through that?
Well, one issue we see a great deal are U.S. companies entering into joint ventures in China. One problem we see frequently is that they'll enter into a joint venture where they own 51% of the joint venture, and they'll presume that they have control over the venture, as they would usually have here in the States. Unfortunately, that's not the case.
It's not so there, right?
It's not so there. In China, in order to have control of a joint venture, you need to have the authority to appoint the managing director and the general manager of the company. Those two roles have complete autonomy over running the company. So a U.S. corporation intent on controlling a joint venture cannot simply rely on owning 51% of the venture or even having control over the board of directors. They must have the explicit authority to appoint the managing director and the general manager.
So there's a lot of things for American businesswomen and men to learn about dealing with China.
A great
and you can
deal.
help them navigate that path.
Yes.
I think that anyone who uses John will find that he is always on top of everything that he does. He never lets it go. He works with the individuals, not just the company, but with the individuals within the company on a personal basis all the time until the project is finished. He has the ability to just get things done where other lawyers just don't seem to have that. He can pick out different things in a project or in a problem and solve them. That's what he's very good at.
Well, I'm charged with the responsibility of helping veterans transition from military to civilian life. And in my course of interfacing with them, some people are looking to start new businesses. And in several cases, I've had the occasion to engage attorneys. And I can honestly say that I am pleased and very, very happy to give testament to John Maalouf, since he has been very, very helpful. And it's obvious to me that his passion for veterans goes beyond just his business. In his personal life, I'm sure he does the same.
John, a lot of times when someone is needing legal services, they will visit a law firm, kind of do their due diligence. A senior partner will greet them, take them out for lunch, and and then you never see them again. The work gets delegated to a junior, a partner, an associate. What can someone expect when they contract your services?
Well, I handle every deal from start to finish. We have an excellent team of first-rate attorneys, and I'll assign a particular discrete aspect of a deal to one of my associates. But I handle every deal. If a client were to call me up at 3 o'clock on a Tuesday night and ask me what's going on in my deal, I can give them every detail.
And clients call you up at 3 o'clock in the morning? Is that what you're saying?
Well, we have clients in almost every different time zone. So if a client needs a conference call in Hong Kong at 3 a.m., we have a conference call or a video conference. We're available.
Excellent. Now, you have, I know that a lot of people want to work with you directly, but not to at all discredit the amazing team of attorneys that I understand you have working with you. So let's talk a little bit about them.
Sure. We have a fantastic team of hand-picked attorneys working for us. Many of them have many years of experience in the financial services industry. They speak many languages, including Mandarin, Cantonese for our clients doing work in China. And if a deal or a transaction is given to them or part of the transaction is given to them, you can rest assured it'll be done perfectly.
You've had amazing success as an attorney and the years that you've been practicing since the early 90s, I understand. Is that correct?
Yes.
Not only with a firm that you started with, but now with your own firm. What would you say are the principles on which you founded your business?
Well, the ability to see solutions that other lawyers can't see. Many attorneys will work 70 or 80 hours a week, but they don't understand why they're doing it. We structure the more complicated deals that other firms say can't be done or impossible. We'll find the new and unique ways to make them happen.
I understand, John, that you represent a lot of huge Fortune 500 companies, but what about the little guy?
We represent a number of startup companies. We help them get set up properly from the beginning, structure the company properly. We help them through several rounds of private placement financing. We can often help them raise $5 million or $10 million in capital without having to register with the SEC. So there are no 10Ks, 10Qs, 8Ks, or Sarbanes-Oxley issues to be concerned with. We also have excellent relationships with some of the nation's top-tier investment banks and private equity firms. So we can also help them obtain additional sources of financing as well.
So the whole idea really is to build that relationship that you can work with and, in a sense, partner with the company throughout their growth.
Exactly. We grow with them. We take some companies from their initial stages where you have 2 or 3 principals with a great idea and some startup financing, take them through financing, acquiring competitors, and then through the IPO process. A lot of people know the IPO process is registering your stock with the SEC and then being able to sell your securities on the NASDAQ or the New York Stock Exchange. What we do is we draft all of the SEC filings, including the registration statement, commonly known as the prospectus. We also negotiate and draft the underwriting agreement with the investment bank, which will take the company public. The entire process takes a few months, but once the registration statement is declared effective by the SEC, you've just gone public and you can now sell your shares on the exchanges.
It's an exciting moment for any company, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
What is it that you think, John, your clients appreciate most about you and the work that you and your law firm provides?
Well, we always try to provide cutting-edge service and to see how to add value to deals, whether it's additional financing, whether it's opening up overseas operation, whether it's the way of structuring a merger. We try to add value and make the deal more profitable to our clients. We see solutions other firms don't see, and we provide old-fashioned hands-on service. If you need me, you've got me. Although we have a fantastic team of associates, the clients get me. They're not passed off on to anyone.
Now, the world of IPOs is changing drastically, isn't it? There's a lot less companies going public here than there are abroad. Isn't that true?
Unfortunately, that is true. About a generation ago, of the world's 25 largest IPOs, virtually all of them were done in the United States. Last year, in 2006, 2 of the world's largest 25 IPOs were done here. Only 2.
That's amazing.
As a nation, we've effectively regulated ourselves out of an industry. The IPOs are now being done a great deal in London, in Russia, and in Hong Kong. And that's how we opened up the office over there, to help our clients doing international IPOs and international transactions.
There's a lot of companies that might want to take themselves public, but it may not be the right choice for them, or it may not be the right time.
That's true. We'll work with companies, we'll see at what stage of development they're at, and be able to advise them whether or not it's the best time for them to do an IPO. If it is, we can handle it for them. If it's not, we can advise them as to other types of financing.
You know, John, there's a lot of law firms out there, and a lot of them specialize in international and corporate finance. So why you? What are they going to get from Maalouf law firm that they maybe or can't get anywhere else?
We've been ranked as one of the nation's top 10 law firms in this area, and we have the ability to see solutions that other law firms don't. We also provide the old-fashioned personal service that other law firms just don't offer these days.
Excellent. And here you are now ranked as one of the top 10 law firms in the United States. So congratulations, and we wish you much continued success. Offering a comprehensive range of legal services that help you seize those opportunities and get the deal done. That's why companies large and small rely on Maalouf Law Firm. Reporting for Close Up on America's Business from the American Stock Exchange in New York City, I'm Janice Marie.